Hello everyone, I hope you are all having a wonderful week given the circumstances. We are here with a new video in Zanerya city, episode number 2. And today we are going over one of my first big projects in the city, making the beautiful Sunken Plaza. This area is located right next to the commercial district, which is to the right of what you see now on the screen. And I wanted to add it here because I was thinking that people need a place to relax, maybe do a bit of shopping or just chill out, and yeah, in general just have a nice beautiful area. So I started with making a hole in the ground and then adding some stairs on the side with the procedural objects mod. Later on I'm just gonna add pedestrian paths over it so people can actually walk down here. Yeah, and I also wanted to get the tram line here, because I was thinking if a lot of people come here like after they finish their work, their jobs or whatever, maybe do a bit of shopping, maybe chill out, maybe have a coffee or something, to have a nice tram line here which take the people home. So yeah, I extended the staircase, making it wider because I wanted to add, you're gonna see this later in the video, I wanted to add like some really small areas with a bit of grass on the stairs where I can plant some trees and then maybe some sitting area. I saw a picture on internet with a similar staircase, so I kinda did the same thing. And here I'm just placing decals, the ploppable pavement, which later I'm gonna slap some decals over it. The most annoying thing about this entire area was, of course, like always when you work with the terrain, it's probably the height differences and things not aligning properly. So I had to make quite a good use of the terraforming network, which is absolutely a great thing to use all the time. Yeah, so I made here the first buildings. They are procedural object buildings, but later on I added those little things from Mr. Acroas to make them functional. I had to make them procedural objects so I can fit them perfectly over there. And I also added the Street Toaster cafe, found this asset on the workshop, and it's a small tribute to him. I learned quite a lot of detailing from him as well, from his Untitled series on YouTube. Added a couple of little tables here where people can just chill out, and yeah, I absolutely love those places in real life as well. So I added the same road, which I absolutely love, this one, so I can have commercial buildings on the other side. I'm gonna add a pedestrian pathway over the tram line so people can get over the other side. And then that will place over their functional buildings across the entire road. So right here I'm trying to work my way to make this pedestrian pathway. If you haven't seen how to make a staircase functional, this is how you do it, but I did it wrong. What you see here is not the end result, because whenever you reach horizontal platform, let's say, so you got the top one horizontal, then a couple of stairs, then another horizontal one. Like for each horizontal level you need to add 2 nodes to make it flat. What you see here is me adding only 1 node, like horizontal 1 node, staircase, horizontal 1 node, and so on. But in this way it doesn't really work. So I actually did this off camera because I was streaming this portion here on Twitch, and it became like extremely boring. It's a lot of work for making those things look properly, to see the people actually walking down the staircases, but that's the same principle, you just add a couple more nodes. So yeah, here I start placing the buildings. They won't remain here, all of them, like it takes me, like I said in the previous episode, it takes me quite a lot of time to figure the right buildings for the right location. So here I'm just playing with some ideas, see how things work out, see what types of building I can add. It was really important for me that the buildings are, the roof of the building is lower than the terrain, because I want to add some other buildings on top, and they need to be, you know, everything needs to be leveled. Here I'm just covering this entire thing. You're gonna see later in the video some really fun struggle where I tried to add water here. Initially I imagined to have like a small pond, maybe add some vegetation like reeds and whatever, but yeah, that idea didn't really work. At the moment I'm just hiding this with grass, and then I'm extending like the roof over here, because I don't know, I just felt like doing it, and maybe hide the middle with some glass. You're gonna see me doing that in a bit, and that glass made like a really amazing shadow on the ground. As I was building this, I was constantly, when I was zooming the camera around here, I was constantly looking at the shadow that's being casted on the ground. So right here you can see that gap over there, and that's when I decided, okay, I need to make a glass here, a glass area in the middle. That's why I extended that roof even more. Just adding some support pillars. I went with this style because I think it looks more luxurious, more I don't know, better suited for this area, for those shops, and yeah. So here I am pulling the glass, the procedural objects glass roof thing, and of course I'm gonna color it to make it more transparent. I think it looks really good when it's more dark. And look at the shadow underneath. I think that's absolutely amazing. The shadow that's being casted on the tram line, around the tram line. Right, so once I was done with detailing that small area over there, adding the decals and all that, I proceeded to add some buildings on top of the ones. You can already see that I changed the ones on the bottom floor. I'm still gonna change them one more time. I don't think the ones on the bottom here are gonna stay like right underneath this thing. I don't really remember, but yeah, I found those really cool buildings and I just duplicated one of them and extended, let's say, the main building, and it fits the area quite nicely. But I had this opened area here, like kind of big area, which wasn't filled with anything, so I decided to add a curb network and place some flowers and maybe some trees and whatnot, just to make it more interesting. Right, so as I was thinking like how to connect the other side, initially I only wanted it to be kind of small, but once I saw like the space, like I wanted it to be more how to explain, more free, more open. So I decided to add 2 more staircases and maybe do something in the middle here. Initially I didn't really know what. I was thinking like maybe have a closed in area with more shops and all that kind of stuff. But then it hit me like why not connect this area with the commercial district through a tunnel. So that's what you're gonna see me doing here. It took a very long time to make it functional and look good as well, but I think the end result is quite nicely, because now the people who are having their cars parked underneath the commercial district and the other guys who are coming from the park, the big circled park, now they can have a quick access all the way here through a nice tunnel. So I really liked the idea of this. To say this area wasn't really that easy to make because it's quite narrow, and I really wanted the buildings to not be seen like through the stairs, obviously, and it was it took me quite some time to figure the right buildings, but in the end I think it looks quite good. I mean, nothing is showing up through the staircase, or yeah. So the most annoying thing I have to say was the road. You saw there like quite a huge mess of terraforming networks alongside the road, so yeah. Now I had to absolutely cover this area here on the road above, because every time you make like those tunnels underneath the road, you always get this weird glitch, and I just can't stand it, so I had to redo the line work and all that, so yeah. Over here I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to close in after I place the tunnel, trying to make it look nice. As I was doing this, I saw that the clipping, the glitch, the blue area where you see that, I really don't like seeing those kind of things. So yeah, you can hide it like this, but when I'm recording I can show you like from a different angle, so you don't really see that, but I know it's there, and my mind is just getting triggered all the time. It's not good for my OCD levels, so this is what I'm doing right here. I'm adding another retention wall and I'm hiding the inside, so whenever I zoom in with the camera around here I won't be horrified by that clipping area. So, and in the end it actually turns out quite nice. I mean, I expect those walls to be in real life as well. I mean, you're not gonna see like dirt or earth or whatever, so yeah. And for the final touches here, after I moved all the buildings in place and all that, I decided to add a couple of banners here, billboards, different kind of advertisements, so it just looks better. I mean, the wall was kind of big and empty, it just looked really weird. So yeah, here I'm doing those park benches, which act as buildings and they attract people, so they're really amazing to place them whenever you want them higher, like I don't know, like elevated things. People actually come and sit on them. I'm not sure you can see it on camera, but there's a couple of people. There's a guy right now next to the fountain, so that's pretty cool. Then added those planters here, some nice magnolia trees, they are absolutely wonderful, and yeah, there it is, looking quite good. Here is what I was discussing in the beginning of the video. I made those retaining walls going like a rectangular shape and added them to the level of the first staircase, and I'm gonna follow this this idea throughout the entire staircase. I mean, different levels. One of them will be like with grass, where I can add a couple of trees or flowers or whatever, and then I decided to add a couple more as a continuation of that, where I'm gonna add the wooden texture, so kinda imitate a sitting area where people can just come and just chill and relax, and I don't know. So I just imagine like it's kinda cool because the smell from the trees, like I think those are cherry trees or whatever, I think the entire smell of this area is quite nice, and yeah, this part here was absolutely frustrating because it was so hard to select the correct node and move everything into place. And to be honest, I did this over a couple of 2 days or 3 days, or I don't know how long it took me, but what you see is different portions of the entire recording, but this took me quite a lot of time, and I was getting more and more annoyed, thinking that I have to do this 3 times, so because there's 3 staircases. But yeah, eventually I did it everywhere, so it all looks the same. I mean, you do one side and then you copy paste everything, but still it's not that easy because there's so many pedestrian pathways and terraforming networks and everything breaks around. So yeah, here I add the trees and you can see how it all looks, and this is just getting repeated over the other staircases as well. So here is what I was talking. I was toying with the idea of making this a small pool here, a small pond or whatever. First it was looking quite alright, I just didn't like that the hole is kinda small, and then I decided to raise the water a bit higher, and I don't know from where, but the water started to flood out the entire area. This was, I constantly checked it, I constantly thought maybe there's something I can do about it, but it was just too painful to work with the terrain there, so I kinda abandoned the idea of that. Water for me in City Skylines is my biggest enemy. I just don't know how to deal with it. It's very frustrating. I'm not saying no against the idea, but yeah, it's always really challenging to work with water in this game. So yeah, I kinda decided to do something else over there. Here I'm just continuing the small little closed space, adding more planters, more benches, for people to relax. Also you can see that the pedestrian path is acting as a bridge. That's because I needed to be able to see it everywhere. Like I wanted to see exactly where people are walking, how they are walking around on the staircase and all that. So yeah, later on I'm just gonna turn this into invisible pedestrian pathway, and yeah, everything is gonna look quite good. Now I added graffitis here. I'm absolutely a fan of graffitis. I really like them in real life as well. They are true art. I mean, if those kind of graffitis, not the tags or how you call them, just scribbles on the wall. I don't like that, but that's part of that's part of the art as well, I guess. But yeah, those ones are really good, and I do intend to add a lot of them in the city. So yeah, once that was done, just fill out the gaps on the other side above. Again, fixing all the shadows, the glitches on the terrain. You can see the shadows are kinda weird there because of the terraforming network that's underneath the staircase. So I had to make all this area. I'm not gonna show everything, but you get the idea. So yeah. And then I was thinking, how are we gonna continue this? Like what am I supposed to do? Just continue the plaza forever and ever? So at one point you have to decide how you're gonna how you're gonna combine the elevation differences. Like the main road is on the top and you have this Sunken Plaza on the bottom, so how are you gonna connect the roads and all that? So Obviously you gotta go up some point, but I consider this is the best way to do it, so I kinda splitted the road in one direction, connected with the upper road, and then the tram line to just go through a tunnel and connect to the commercial district tram line. Everything here was hidden with the procedural objects grass, and I added those really cool tunnels because I wanted to be able to see like how the cars are going there, how many are going there, and if I have traffic and all that. So yeah, I didn't really want to just do it in any other way. I really wanted the tunnel here, but I'm not 100% happy with the shape of this tunnel. Maybe sometime in the future I'm gonna change it here, I don't know yet, but at the moment I'm gonna keep it like this. The cool thing is that you can see inside, you can also see the tram, you can also see the cars coming, the pedestrians, so yeah, it's not that bad. On the top, again, pedestrian pathways. I kind of wanted to make a closed space, more like of closed community between those apartment blocks and whatever, but also have it like a small, let's say, park, because I had the trees and all that. Here I was doing again the terraforming networks. Absolutely a pain in the ass to work with when you have those differences in terrain. You can see the terrain glitching there all the time. It was quite a challenging thing. And then why not add some street lights? I have one friend on the Twitch stream, a viewer who's desperate with the street lights, and he's always nagging me to add more street lights everywhere. The thing is, I don't even play with the game on night time, so I always neglect that aspect. But I also want to have the prop count on the lower side. I mean, if I start adding a lot of streetlights everywhere, it's just gonna increase my prop limit so much, so I kinda want to avoid that. But again, I know people like night shots as well, so I'm not gonna neglect that. I do have streetlights everywhere in the city, but yeah. So here I am starting again to do the same thing that I did on the other side. We have to somehow connect with the main road, that's upper level, and I did this kind of thing here, closed in the space, dragged the road on the other side, and yeah, here we connect it with the main road. I did it as a nice low angle slope, because for the cars to make it easier, and especially for the trams. And then of course continue adding buildings and see what fits. This one, the community center, absolutely amazing building. I don't remember the name of the creator. It's something Norwegian or something like that, really hard to pronounce, something with S. He has some really nice buildings. I use a lot of his buildings in the city. If you wanna know, let me know in the comments, I can give you the links. But yeah, I had that building and then this tower here, and I had to do something about this area, so I copied the community center because it's an awesome building, and I decided to continue it around the main building there. So I made it procedural objects, I did it there, and then close in the space with a retaining wall, and then add some trees and vegetation just to make it look more interesting. Alright, and here, as I took that road on the other side of the plaza, I did the retaining walls, and then I decided to add again some glass here because it looks really amazing, and just we are able to see through the entire thing when the tram shows up. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any feedback, any suggestions, any ideas, leave a comment below. I read all the comments, I reply to everyone. I will see you in the next one. Have a good week. Bye bye.